for the marks, each horseman will cast an individual mark every 12 seconds, and it starts after 20 seconds into the fight. So the first 20 seconds, nothing happens. And then after 20 seconds, the first mark is going to be applied. And then every 12 seconds throughout the whole fight, they will, keep applying. Those are cast in like a 45-yard plus radius, which means that, we cannot stack them. We have to drag them to each of their corners, which is going to be important for you in terms of positioning as a healer. When we position them in the right way, we'll have a safe zone in the middle of the room. That safe zone is going to be really important for you to understand and, realize where that is. I'll give you a visual of what it looks like once the Four Horsemen are positioned. So in the safe zone, no marks will apply. But again, this is only applicable if the horsemen are correctly positioned, because the radius is, around them. So wherever they are, that's where the marks are going to apply. The debuff for a mark lasts 75 seconds and can only be dropped after, 75 seconds of getting no mark. Remember, they are individually stacked, so each horseman will apply his or her own mark. If you get, different marks of different bosses, those will not stack on top of one another. So for the black box on the bottom, that's important to know. The damage of each tick or of each mark is only applied when it ticks. So let's say the first 12 seconds are running, then the first mark is going to hit you. That's when you take the damage. You never take it in between. You only take it every 12 seconds. The way this works is, as you can see in the black box. So the first stack of a mark does never deal any damage. The second one is always 250. The third is always 1,000. The fourth mark is always 3k. Then on the fifth, it's 5k, and then it's 1k additional damage on each mark. Again, this is for individual marks. So if you get 3 marks of, let's say, Blumeau, then you take 3k damage. 1k damage. If you would take it to 4 marks on the same boss, so if you stay an additional 12 seconds, you would take 3k and so forth. If you would now walk to another horseman, we would go back to 1 because you're taking the mark of an additional horseman. However, the debuff is running for 75 seconds. So if in the next 75 seconds you run back to the boss you came from, it will stack again to a higher mark and you'll take that damage. So this is how people kill themselves on Four Horsemen if they don't play the right rotation. So this is the base mechanic every one of you has to understand to not, walk somewhere there shouldn't be. There is a rotation. This is why we're here. I have a whole spreadsheet for you where you can see your own individual rotation, which will prevent this from happening where you kill yourself, because you're always going to run a specific way. It will, prevent this. This is the basic mechanics of what all horsemen have as shared abilities. Individual mechanics, and this is important for you as healers to understand. Cortez, which is going to be bottom left, has a meteor. That's the same meteor you know from the Osirian trash, or AQ40 trash has the same mechanic. As long as we stack, everybody is safe. Damage is going to be split. It's 13k damage in total. So if we split that, it's a 1k damage per player or whatever when it hits a group of people, maybe a bit more. That happens every 12 seconds, and it happens on the tick mark. So this is never a individual cooldown. This is bound to the tick of a mark. So if Cortas is, applying mark number 2, then you will also meteor. It's never shortly after, it's never shortly before, it is always on mark. That's important for you as a healer to understand, because when you run out to the next boss that you're supposed to heal on, you cannot run out randomly. You have to make sure you wait for meteor to hit first and then run out. If you disobey this, or if you ignore this, the meteor might be single target cast on you and then you just die, and there's nothing anyone can do for you. You'll just get one shot. So whenever you leave a boss, make sure you do it after the mark has been applied, and then you're free to walk, to your next boss. For tanks, this isn't really too relevant because their damage is also going to be shared across the melee stack that's fighting with them. So no tank will ever get single hit by this, because this is the first boss we're going to focus, and he's going to die in, I don't know, 30 seconds. This one is a bit tougher to heal and probably the hardest to heal. So Mogren, which is going to be bottom right, that's the second boss we're going to kill. He has Righteous Fire, which, as you can see, is a 25% melee attack chance to hit for another like 2.5k damage. And he's also going to apply a 4.8k damage dot. So for you healers, or for us healers, we just need to make sure to top off that tank immediately. He will take a lot more damage. So this is going to be mainly tanked by Dazo and then Giant Forged. Dazo will wear a little bit of fire resistance for this boss. Just make sure you overheal him in that case a bit. Yeah, just make sure he's topped off. He'll take quite a bit of damage. This is the hardest hitting of the 4 bosses. So bottom right, Mograine for you as a healer is high alert. The other 2, and generally horsemen don't really hit hard as their abilities, like the normal melee attack they do is nothing out of the ordinary. Fairly easy to heal. Blue Moor, which is going to be top left, has void zones. This is important for you to know because you have to move out of them. So think of the Kurinax traps from AQ20 or any other floor mechanic that damages you. When you see it, you have to immediately run out. They last for 90 seconds and they will damage you for 90 seconds. So they're always going to do the damage. But the damage application of those void zones is fairly quick. It's like 1.5, 2 seconds max. So you have to run out immediately. Otherwise, you take 4k to almost 5k damage. This is unmitigated damage. If you have a GSPP up, that will mitigate it, but your GSPP is meant for the marks, not for void zones. So these can spawn around the boss randomly. It can be in the ranged camp, it can be in the melee camp. So just watch out for those. Don't just blindly heal. You have to walk out of those immediately. Ziliak, which is the top right boss, that's the last one we're going to kill. So Blue Moor is the third one we're going to kill. This is the easiest one to heal because he only quote unquote, only has a chain lightning mechanic. So this chain lightning mechanic is the wipe mechanic of this fight. This is the same chain lightning that Venoxus has in AQ in CG. So the more it bounces, the more damage it deals, but it's not a 500 more per target, it doubles per target. So after, I don't know, target 5 or 6, it's just going to one-shot people. If that carries into the raid, then people just wipe. So this is both important for you to understand as where should you be positioned, but also where do you run and in and out of the boss. So this is the only boss that has a very specific path I'm going to show you later on that you have to stick to. You cannot just randomly walk in and out of this boss. If he's going to target you for chain lightning and you stand next to another camp of people or close to the raid, it can chain into the raid and then it just snowballs from there and then people just get one shot. So there's a very easy way to fix this. So just pay attention to the rotation and the route that I'm presenting, and then we're going to be completely fine. So this is the mechanics of the horseman. I'll do a full stop here before I walk through any rotations, positions, whatsoever. Is there anything unclear about what these horsemen do and how the marks work? Because this is important that you understand this.
I feel as clear as I can be, at least. I even had a 1-hour meeting with Ramsu on it, so.
Okay. No questions on marks or?
Nope.
Okay.
Not really, no.
So for you as a healer, just yeah, go ahead, Anil.
For the meteor, it's like very specific. Are we gonna the healer camp? Are they gonna be in range to get hit by the meteor?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So, well, okay, this is a good one because on the I would like to say yes and no at the same time. So for Cortez, you would be in range to get hit by meteor, but we're gonna kill that boss first. So when you get hit, you will get hit with the mages, hunters, and warlocks as well. So if we look at the first portion of the fight, which is going to be nuking Cortez, then you'll have just a big of a range stack as we'll have a melee stack, so it's not dangerous. The time it would become dangerous if you don't nuke Cortez first and you play a full rotation on the boss, because then the range split would get smaller. But I don't want to get too much into what ifs. For the scenario that we're going to play, you'll be in a range group with lots of people, so you'll take 1k damage each on average.
Cool. So we're gonna free mark him, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yep. Sure.
So Cortez should be die by Mark 3, latest Mark 4, but I would almost say it's going to be a Mark 3.
Actually, I have a quick question as well then, Frenny.
Mhm.
So I'll start at Mograine, so I will move to Cortex first, right? Do you know, so first marks comes, you think I can make it to him before second mark applies?
I know what you mean.
You go safe spot, you see meteor, then you go in.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, good
So
point.
it basically,
It's like that's what you do when you're doing that, like nothing else.
Then there's gonna be one less healer, right?
Yes,
That's
but
going to be fine.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
The
Like,
only
because we-
time it's not fine is kind of more grain, but even that 2 healers can out heal if they just pump it.
Yeah, I just wanted to double check, like if I just full send it, hope I make it, or
Yeah.
just wait in the safe spot and then go in.
yeah,
It's,
but just wait for your leaf before you run safe spot, basically. Like,
Yeah,
so
yes.
you will be more healer on that side first, and you run safe spot, because the other is like we are gonna have a pre-pot fire protection pot, just like we're barely gonna take any damage from the meteor anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it will pretty much be 0 until he
Yeah,
dies. Because
yes.
it's going to be
It-
mitigated
it's-
by
yeah,
GFPP.
Yes, and shadow protection pots as well, because like everyone's pre-potting pre-pull. So like the 2 first marks, we're not gonna see any damage. It's only main tank heal for the literally first 30 seconds of that fight. Because 20-second he doesn't do a mark, then it's mark 1 12-second. That's got mitigated by all the shadow protection pot, and the same with the fire protection pot. So literally you can literally solo heal the first boss if you want to, like in theory.
Okay, then I'll just quickly, and again, if there's questions later on, please just jump in. This is like what this is for. I'm not here just to present it. I want you to ask because I need you all to understand how this is running and working. So I hope you can see my paint now, right? With the Four Horsemen.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So this is what the room is going to look like if the Four Horsemen are positioned. Now this is a bit, visualized for a video. The horsemen are obviously smaller than this. These are gigantic, but the radius still applies. So the positions of these horsemen will not really change except for Blemo, because Blemo is the only boss that has to be moved, right? So these void zones will spawn, and depending on where the void zones are, the tank maybe has to move it a little bit, but it shouldn't really destroy the safe spot or make it much smaller.
Like here is a very important at Blumo is we are going to be 3 healers at Blumo. You do not stack, because that means all of you have to move at the same time if a mark spawns on you. So healers do not stack on Blumo.
Yeah.
So everyone's spread. Also, does this include casters? I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
They should.
Yes.
Yes, they
Yes.
should. They should.
Because like you're baiting marks basically. That's where you, not marks.
Yeah,
but
you
baiting
have to move
void
every
zone.
time.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's also
Yeah.
DPS flaws.
Yes.
So generally, let's just so this is how the safe spot works, right? So this area is always the safe spot. So I'll be here for most of the fight. I'll be starting on Mograine as the 4th healer. So we'll be playing 13 healers tomorrow. I'll be number 13, but I'll be in the safe spot for most of the fight. So I can either be a jumper, but I can also direct the fight, right? Because I have to take care of the tank rotation from safe spot. So the 12 of you will be running in a clockwise, rectangle. So I'll give you a couple of positions now. So the healer camp or ranged camp on Cortez, so this is the first boss, will roughly be here. Again, as long as people stack on a point, it doesn't really matter where it is as long as they are stacked. But this by the pillar is a good orientation where to be. Again, you have 40 yards to heal. There's no reason for you to be close to the tank other than maybe totems, but those have a range as well. And just one specific thing here before I forget it. For tomorrow on pull, I need all shamans to put their totems on this boss first. We need all melees to have Wind Fury to, kill him as quickly as possible. Totem management generally is going to be an issue, and my brain's been breaking over how we're going to do it. We can get more specific on totems later, but as you will see, you'll be in constant movement, so your totem will not be with your melee group or your tank. So that's a problem. That is something we kind of need to think about.
But you do the sneak up, don't you, on the first boss anyway? Like the sneak up to the left, like huggy, like the wall you cannot see, basically.
So the totems, down here is a wall. This is what Rasmus was talking about. So down here is a wall and the entrance. The sneak up means we'll meet down here. So I talked to the tanks yesterday, Rasmus. They would like to walk up to the horsemen, except for Cortez, which is going to be pulled towards Giant Forge from Nova.
Yes, but like
Yeah.
why? Like if you see the horseman where he's standing now, basically on the picture, like
Yes.
do you? There's the bent wall. That's where all casters and healers should pre-arrange stand, because we don't have to move them. Like we can just stand there, because they are going to be running up, meeting the horsemen anyway. So there's no point of us moving up with
No.
them.
So the melees will be down here.
Yes.
But I want the casters to walk to their spots so they don't fuck it up later. So I don't want one stack down here because Meteor is gonna, I just want the casters to walk up here. You can place your totems down here, that's fine. And just walk up a little bit and make sure you have a range stack.
No, but like why walk up at all? Like it's a DPS loss. Because like if we are pre-stacked down at the wall, we're already standing there. Like we're standing in the spot where we're gonna stand
The
the whole
problem is
fight.
there will be people rotating in. So I don't want the healers from, let's say, this spot having to run down here. I
Oh,
would
okay,
like
okay.
to keep
Yeah, yeah.
this rotation running.
Yeah,
So
sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, then I get
but
it.
yeah, so this is kind of where you're going to end up as a ranged. The melees again are going to stay down here so they can just walk directly into boss. So for you and Paul, pop your totems. It doesn't have to be much more than Wind Fury. Wind Fury is the most important one. Just get Wind Fury out here so people have it. And then don't re-stomp it. If you just walk up, you just keep it until this boss dies. Then you can do with your totems whatever. Again, it's a bigger issue, but let's just talk basics for now. That is very specific. So this is the
Freddy?
range stack. Yeah,
If I leave, can you invite me back real quick? I'm gonna change PC.
sure.
Okay, thanks. I'll jump into raid 1.
Yep. So this is the range spot for Cortez. The same will apply to
Thank you.
you back? Okay. The same could apply to Blomo, but as Rasmus said, we can just spread out, so it doesn't really matter where you're positioned here. It doesn't have to be a stack. There's no meteor. You can be here, you can be there, you can be there. It doesn't matter. You can be here. You can just find a spot to bait the void zones and, make sure you don't all get hit if one spawns underneath you. So as Rasmus said, spread out on this guy. So what's important now is Ziliak. Like I said, Ziliak has the chain lightning mechanic, so we have to make sure we are split on this, never be in bigger groups. By bigger groups, I mean like, full range stack. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a range stack. This is DPS only. This is not for you. DPS range stack can be up here. Your healer stack can be here. Yeah. And whenever you walk in or out of Ziliak, it's very important that if you come from Bleumo, let's say, you walk this way, straight over, and then you walk down to this. When you walk out of this position, because it's time for you to go, you go back behind the pillar, and then you move straight down, either to safe spot or Mograine, whatever the rotation is. So this is individual depending on where we at in the fight. Okay, but generally you walk in this way, you walk behind the pillar back. The reason you don't walk in this area here, wait, let me just mark that in a different color. So the reason you don't walk in this area is because there's the tank path. So on this boss, there has to be constant tank swaps because they're also getting the marks and they can only take so many before they will die, right? So we have to play tank swaps. For you as a healer, that also means that you get different tanks in different spots to heal. So it's not always going to be just Giant Forge in one corner and Storbo in the other. It's going to be maybe Dazo up here at some point, and then maybe Pike is here, but Pike could also be, on the other side. So that depends on where we are in the fight and where I send the next tank to help another tank. So while we run a rotation, the tanks have their own rotation that they have to run in order to not die from these marks. They'll take more than 3. That's what we are going to take. They'll take 5, sometimes even 6 if they're playing it a bit risky. But generally, they will be between 4 and 5 marks. So just be aware that you have to check which tank you're supposed to heal in that corner. You'll not see it in your raid frames. You don't have an assigned tank for this fight. You will be with different tanks at all times, depending on where you are. That's important to understand. So again, this yellow area is where the tank is going to walk. So the tanks cannot walk through, the tanks cannot walk through here or here because when they walk out, they might get, chain lightning and they will carry that chain lightning into this group or this group. And if people are here in safe spot, it might even carry over into this group. This is why you have to walk this way and the tanks will always walk this way and this way. So they cannot, chain a chain lightning into any of these groups. This is why the setup is very specific and very important. So make sure you understand where you have to walk, on Ziliak. Just as an example, this is very, well, it's not very hypothetical. It could happen that way. So let's say you are one of the, well, it will happen because some healers will start here. So let's say you're starting on Ziliak and it's the first boss you're healing on and you have to go to Mograine. Then you take this path out. You'll be up in your healer stack, let's say here, and heal on this boss. Just to finish the rotation, you could do a straight walk over here and then a straight walk back over here. So you always run in this rectangle. The only, special pathing is this one here that you have to keep in mind. Everything else can be a fairly straight over or safe spot to next boss. Just gonna stop here for a second. Does the pathing make sense, or is there questions around where you have to walk and or how you can stand? So remember, this is a stack. This can be individual spots. This is a stack with a special path out, and this is a stack. But this could also be spread out. So there's no AoE mechanic here on this boss. You could be a loose stack. This does not matter down here.
Is the range for the chain lightning known? Chain lightning.
I do not know the range, but it's fairly high.
Right.
Just be max range. I think it's 30 yards, but I can look it up, but I'm not sure if there's a perfect, information on what the range is. Rasmu for totems on Ziliak.
Yeah.
I know lots of you, for some reason, place their totems like inside the tanks, which I'm not a shaman, but I think is a misplay. You guys should try to max range your totems on Ziliak. Because you cannot walk onto him. You cannot walk in and put your totem. You might kill people.
No. Like the only shaman that's gonna be able to place the totem is the first one going there, like
Yes.
literally one going on their pull. Like the totem is not gonna matter. Like they just have
Yeah.
to hold their pants with threats.
Yeah.
Like the totem doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay.
Drop grace of air and the hunters will be happy.
Yeah. So this is the general way in how we're gonna path. Now we're getting into the details of when do we walk and why do we have to, bother with it. So
Wait.
Yeah.
Can we go over the top right side again? Do we as a healers walk behind that skull from this point of view?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yes. So you will always walk in behind the skull into your spot, and then you walk out again behind the skull, down this red line.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, the yellow area is no-go zone for you. You cannot cross over here. This is strictly for tanks. This is their in and out, so they are safe. Okay. So let's look at healer rotations and why, it is important. So as you can see, we'll need healers for all tanks at all times, but you will also get marks. So there's only so long you can stay on a boss before you take too much damage or die. So healers need to be in a rotation. Now, obviously, you cannot run in groups, in groups of 5 or whatever, because then you'll all get the same mark and will end up running out of time because the 75-second debuff will not drop in time for you to be back at your spot. So very clever people back in the day figured out, how this works best, which is having 3 healers per corner. And within each group of healers, which is always going to be 3, so there's 3 healers down here, there's 3 up here, and so forth. Of each of these 3 people, they're all going to run an individual rotation. So I'm just going to do a basic example before I show you the detailed version of it. So let's say we have Zihu, we have Rasmu, and we have Rehexen. Okay, this is the 3 healers in this example starting on Cortez. Yes, Rasmu?
But can I stop you here? Look, because like this is really good what you're gonna show them now. But you have already done the assignment, haven't you? On
Yes.
this. Yeah, so like just turn them out already, because then people can start mental prepping and they can even ask questions now at their
Well, the
assignment.
assignment is out there. People can look at it. I've posted it. I'm gonna
Because
go over.
I think that would
Yeah.
help a lot. Then people
Yeah,
can
I'll do
already
that example. Just a general quickly how this works. So if Zihu, Rasmu, and Rehexen start here, each of these 3 players will have their own individual mark on which they're gonna run, and the rotation after this mark does never change for them. So Zihu will start walking on 1, Rasmu on 2, and Rehexen on 3. So when the boss fight starts, Zihu will take 1 mark and then start walking towards Bleumo. Once this first step is done, he will always take 3 marks on each of these bosses. So mark 1, Zihu walks to Bleumo, gets 3 marks off Bleumo, which is a total mark counter of 4, but 3 on Bleumo. So once he has 3 on Bleumo, he has to leave, which means he walks over to Ziliak. He gets 3 marks again, which is total mark 7. Then he walks to Mograine, 3 marks there until mark 10. So depending on what your starting position is, you'll always count to 3 or check your debuff until you have 3 of that individual horseman, and then you walk to the next one. So if it's Rasmu starting on 2, he will stay longer on the first boss, but he'll stay until total mark 5 or mark 3 for Bleumo on Bleumo. Then he walks over to Ziliak until his total mark is 8, but his Ziliak mark is 3. So the step rotation is always free, but your total mark counter might change. So there's a weak aura that's going to count that for you, but you still need to pay, attention to, what is actually happening. You should keep this in mind for yourself. The weak aura can do it for you, but when bosses die, this will kind of change. So just to finish the example here, if Rehexen, he's staying the longest on the first boss, he will start running after 3 only. He'll be here until 6, but 3 individual marks. He will stay here until 9 total marks, but 3 individually for Zeliek. Then he picks up 3 marks on Mograine, which brings him to 12 total marks. So I've mapped out this whole rotation for each of you individually for tomorrow. So all you need to worry about is your own rotation. It doesn't matter what Rehexen is doing if you're Rasmo. And it also doesn't matter what Rasmo is doing if you're Zihu, because you are running your own rectangle with your own individual assignment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So by
Kind of.
doing this, it's always going to be one healer moving at the same time from each corner, which will give this full rotation, the ability to always have 3 healers in one position. Think there was a question? Was it Rehexen or anyone? No?
Nah, that was just a fart. Let's continue.
Okay. So this is how this works in a nutshell, okay?
But
For
I
your
have a question to the
Yep, go for it.
rotation.
Mhm.
When a boss dies, how does that affect the
Yes.
rotation we're doing?
Yes, good question. That's the next step in the rotation. So let me just eliminate all this clutter over here because we've now done this. Oops, sorry. So let's say this boss is dead. Yeah, so this guy is gone. It's just an example. And we have 3 bosses left. So your rotation would usually be this, right? Just as a draft. This would be a normal rotation. However, if this guy's dead, there's no point for you for going down there. Firstly, there's nobody to heal. Secondly, you'll start getting marks for no reason. So what you're going to do is, whenever a boss is dead, the free marks on that boss will be replaced by the safe spot. Okay, so instead of going down here from Zeliek to Mograine, you would still take the same walk out, obviously, but walk to safe spot. Then you have to wait 3 marks. Now this is a bit harder to spot because you don't have individual marks as a debuff anymore. That's why the weak aura is helpful, because the weak aura is still going to count for you in steps of 3 and tell you it's your time to walk again. What the weak aura cannot do is when 2 bosses are dead. So walking each 3 marks is easy enough, but that only applies to either 4 bosses alive or you taking the safe spot for 1 dead boss. If 2 bosses are dead, you obviously need to count your 6 yourself, because if this guy is dead as well, you no longer walk down here, you would, walk up here next, in theory. But, and here's the big but, by eliminating bosses, obviously we free up more healers, right? Because nobody needs to be here anymore and nobody needs to be here anymore. So the safe spot becomes a, chill zone for us to heal up people in safe spot that have been damaged by a mark. So once we have these 2 bosses down, the rotation could technically change because we have more healers available. However, I would ask all healers to just follow the same rotation. So I hope I'm not confusing anyone. But if, let's say this guy's just dead, I'm going to remove this. So let's go back to the free boss example. So if this guy's already dead, you would sit here for 3 marks and then go up to this guy again. So we never change the rotation, right? That's the whole idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And
Sounds
an
to me at
input
least.
and an input to this. The reason why we don't go, let's say Mograine is dead. The reason why you wait 3 marks and don't go straight to what is that guy in the bottom left called?
Quarters.
Portas.
Yeah, that would push the whole rotation,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So let's say if I go down straight and not wait in the safe zone, I stand there 3 marks and then I go up. When I go up, like if I followed the rotation, I was supposed to be healing there, so that means there's 1 less healer now because I moved too fast.
Exactly.
Like,
And
yeah.
and all healers need to know as well. Like, yes, say like Incredible, you're unsure about this. Like, it doesn't matter if you go to a dead horse if you're still doing 3 marks, 3 marks, 3 marks. That's fine. Like, you can be there, but you're just gonna take 200 and 500 and 750 damage unnecessary to yourself. You're never gonna die. It's nothing wrong about it. You
Yes.
can do it if you want. So, like, if
Yes.
you feel better off going down to Cortas, standing in Cortez, taking 3 marks, and then go to Mograine, taking 3 marks, or like opposite Mograine first, and then Cortez, that's fine. You're totally fine. You're just gonna take 1,000 damage. Like you're not gonna die from it. It's not dangerous, and it's easier to count. So
Yeah, well,
if you feel unsure, just run the rotation the whole fight. Like it doesn't matter.
my only concern was really what Gucci just explained, that you were gonna fuck up the rotation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
because
too
So
many
this is why
fucks up, right?
Rasmus. This is
Yes.
why Rasmus solution is a very easy solution to that
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
So if you cannot, for some reason, I'm not saying you can't count to 6. I believe you all can, but you know, if it might make it more complicated for you. Some people might just want to sit here for 6 marks because they, you know, feel
I
good
can
about
tell
it.
you, I can tell you exactly what's gonna happen, and I have fucked up on this many times when I've done this fight. And what's happening with new healers doing this fight is you go to Celiac, and you take 3 marks on Cortez, you take 3 marks on Blumo, you take 3 marks on Celiac. Then the next horse is dead, so you decide to go in the safe spot. That's what I do as well. Then you come to the safe spot, and then your Recora tells you, move. You have 3 marks, move.
Yeah.
And then Cortez is dead, so you're gonna go to him for 3 marks. But what all healers do then, they go to Blumo because they think Blumo is dead, meaning you skipped 3 marks on one horse, so you're 3 marks ahead in your rotation. That's what's happening with every healer that are unsure in this fight, and I have done it many, many times doing this wrong myself. So like, if you're unsure, just run to Mograine.
Wait,
So-
so instead of going top left when the Cortez is dead, you should be staying instead of 3 but 6 marks, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the weak core will still tell you, even if you go from
Exactly.
celiac to safe spot, because you're going to be 3 marks from Mograine that is dead in safe spot, and 3 marks more because of Cortez is
So
dead in safe
the fuck up can happen when the second boss dies while you're in a safe place.
Yes, because the weak aura that just counts total marks all the time. So the weak aura will still tell you when you are in the safe spot. It will says to you, move now. It will says, but you need to
Yeah.
wait then. So that's why people fuck up usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Raspo, if we have our assignment sheet and I can see that I run from Celiac, then on Mark 1 I run to Mograine.
Yes.
If the weak aura keeps telling me this is Mark 17, I can see that, let's see, Corvus is dead and I have to be on him at 16. And I will move to Blemox at 19. I can just stay in the safe zone until 19.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can
So
just,
there's
if
2
I have
options.
this
You could
lined up
either be in
next to me.
safe spot. Yeah. You could either be in safe spot and count the marks, you know, accounting for the dead bosses you were supposed to run to, or you can do what Rasmus said, which is the easier way, but you'll take a bit extra damage of just keep running the same rotation for all 3 marks, because then you can just blindly follow the weak aura, never have to think, oh shit, do I have to wait for 3 or 6 now? If you just keep running this rectangle, then it can never go wrong. It goes wrong when you chill in safe spot, you watch somebody, you know, fight, and you're just like, oh, how low HP is this boss? And then you're like, fuck, where am I? You know, am I supposed to go now? Am I not? Because the one thing the weak aura cannot do is count to 6. It can only tell you, oh, you started on 1, while you're supposed to run on 4, 7, 10, 13, and so forth. That's all it can do. It cannot skip a dead boss for you. That's where you have to, you know, think about it yourself.
But shouldn't it just be that people who are sort of new to this fight should just basically keep running the rotation and stay
Yes,
out of the
yes.
safe
Can
spot?
absolutely.
Exactly.
Like I said, you cannot kill yourself. If you keep following the rotation, you will be fine. Because by the time you get to a boss, you know, on the last part of the rotation, your debuff will have already dropped. Remember, you will always spend at least 36 seconds per corner. So if you start here, 36 seconds, this is where the debuff kind of timer starts on the last time you got it, right? So it's 36 seconds up here, then it's 36 seconds up here. So you have 3 seconds after you leave this guy until this debuff is dropped. So you walk in for free or down here, and you can walk over safely down here to get free again because the debuff has already been dropped. So you'll never kill yourself because you never get to mark 5, 4, 6, 7. That's why the rotation is the way it is. So yes, you can just follow what Rasmus said. Run the same rotation even if the horses are dead. Doesn't matter at all. The one thing you cannot do is overstay in one of the horseman zones. So if you for some reason have a brain lag, follow the weak aura, because you cannot stay here for 4, 5, 6, you'll just die. So, you know, as long as you keep running on 3, you're good to go.
And don't run back. Don't run back to the old marks.
Yeah.
Because then you will refresh it. Like you're not
Exactly.
gonna die from refreshing it, but you fuck up your later rotation.
Yeah.
Because you just refreshed it.
Okay, this is
But yeah,
This is this.
100%. Are you unsure? Just run in the rectangle all the time. Like it doesn't matter. Just go there, stand there alone. Like it's all fine. Like you're never gonna die from it. And I think you're gonna take 250 damage on one, 500 damage, and then what is it 1,000 or 750 or something? Like it doesn't matter. You can easily out heal it.
Yeah,
So
I'll keep running the rotation rather than trying to count it.
Yeah.
So to visualize this, to help you, make this a bit more, visually easy, you'll see the 4 stacks of healers here. Each of them in their respective group has one color. So one player is going to be yellow in this group, one is going to be yellow here, one's going to be green here, one green here, and so forth. Now, on the mark counter, you can just see the movement. So again, it's going to be 3 different marks that are assigned to you. So you can be 1, 2, or 3. If you're the Mark 1 healer, this is what it's going to look like. So 4 healers are moving, everybody else stays. On Mark 2, the next 4 healers are running the circle. On Mark 3, the next 3 healers are going to run their circle. So this is the first, let's say, that is the start of the rotation. From here
The
on
pull.
out, it's going to be, this is the pull. So this is going to be, now from here on, it changes, right? It doesn't change, but it's all 3 marks now. So remember, yellow was Mark 1, so Mark 4 is when they took 3 marks on their respective boss. On Mark 5, that's going to be the same for the, I don't know, blue team or whatever it was. I'll just go back again so you can see this again. So the next time blue would walk is on Mark 6. And Mark 4 is yellow again, Mark 5 is green again, Mark blue is 6 again. Gonna watch this because this doesn't apply to us. So now what I'm gonna show you is the individual assignments I've done for tomorrow. They are already uploaded. You can look at them yourself. One thing I want to make sure that you understand this. So I'll just show you this first. In the assignment sheet, opposite to every other boss we are doing, right? Normally we have these 2 healers on this guy, these 2 healers on that guy. This does not apply to Four Horsemen because of the rotations. So when you look at the assignment sheet that I've made, this is just the basic assignments for tomorrow. So when you look at Four Horsemen, it starts here in line 276. So Giant Forge is going to take Cortez, Stuvo is going to take Blue Mo, and so forth. The healers listed down here, this is only where you start the rotation. So if you're Gutima, Christian, and Rasmu, you will not be healing Giant Forge for the whole fight. This is just where you start off. This is just your starting point for the fight, nothing else. Okay? So don't get confused by this. This is just it's more for me than for you. What's for you is this. Now, this is going to look very confusing, but I promise you it's not. Once you understand how this sheet works, Exo and I have been, trying to make it visually as easy as we can, but then again, there is just some things that, aren't as easy as, I don't know, Molten Core. So when you look at this sheet, you will see what your starting point is in this area of here. Like, so the top left area will show you where your starting point is. So Gutima, Christian, Rasmu, you'll be starting on Cortez tomorrow. Rehexen, Zio, Göktürk on Blumo, Lund, Anal, and Kilua on Ziliek, and then Exo, Incredible, and Mazet will start on Mograine. Okay, so this is the 4 corners of the room. However, in your respective corner, you'll have a different assignment on which mark you have to run. So all priests will run on mark number 1 tomorrow. So if Gutima starts on Cortez, he's going to take 1 mark, run over to Blumo. If you get confused by the corners, this is the setup. So Cortez is number 1, up to Blumo. This is the, left way up. Then it's right way over to Ziliek, down to bottom right Mograine, back left to Cortez. That's the rectangle in which the rotation is going to be run. So Guti, Rehexen, Lund, Exo start on 1. The reason for this is so they are, the longest time with one of the main tanks as possible. So if Gutima starts on Cortez, Stulwa will have him for 3 full marks until Gutima has to run. When Rehexen starts on Blumo, then Pike will have Rehexen for 3 marks and so forth. So this whole rotation is kind of set up in a way that they always have a priest for 3 marks after the first initial move. So Mark 1 is when these priests will walk. On Mark 2, this is where these shamans will walk. Mark 3 is where these shamans and Kalua will walk. So if you figured out, okay, I'm Rasmu, then you can look down here in the table, find yourself, and understand what is my rotation. So let's take Rasmu here. He is, Mark 3, starting on Cortez. So we can scroll down to Rasmu, and he is down here. So this is Rasmu's rotation only. This is not applicable to anyone else but him. So Rasmu will start on Cortez, and he will start walking on Mark 3. So he takes 3 marks on Cortez, walks over to Blumont,
But
takes 3 marks.
like you can swap me if you want, because like the Mark 3 is the easy move. That's the one you can't fuck up, because that's you always walk 3-3-3. Like it has nothing to do basically. Like if you want to swap me with the Shaman, that's
The
fine.
reason I have you on Mark 3 is so
Yeah.
Giant Forge has you for 3 marks straight.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're Rasmu again and you start here, you walk on 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So by each mark, you know on which boss you have to be. So you could even have this on a second screen and just, look at this, but it's maybe more confusing than a weak aura. This is just your prep to understand, oh, where am I going to run tomorrow? So this is just mapped out the whole rotation. There's no dead bosses in here, so this just follows the same rectangle we just talked about. And you can walk that as we, spoke about it just now. You can keep walking the same rotation. So this is Rasmu on Mark 3. He's going to count in steps of 3, and then you can just follow this. If you're Anal, then he's going to start on Mark 2, and he's going to start on Zeliek. So he'll take 2 marks on Zeliek, walk over to Mogren until Mark 5. Then he has to walk to Cortez, takes until Mark 8, and then Blumont. So this is always total marks. Yeah, this is the total counter of all marks applied throughout the boss fight. It's like a timeline. Whereas individually per boss, you will always take your 3 marks. So in between 2 and 5, you have taken 3 marks of Mograine. Then you walk to Cortez, you take 3 marks here until Mark 8 total, and you go to Blumont. And this you can just look, at for yourself, wherever I put you for tomorrow, and then you can just follow this. Before we discuss this in more, detail if we need to. So the weak aura has 3 parameters. The weak aura we have is configured to what mark do I start at? So you would need to go into the weak aura and say, oh, I'm Zihu, I'm starting on Mark 2, so I have to punch that into the weak aura to start on 2. And then you have to give the weak aura the information, how many marks do I take per boss? So when do I have to start walking again? Which is always going to be 3 for us. So if Zihu punches in, I'm starting on 2, and I'm walking each 3 marks, the weak aura will tell him, oh, it's been 3 marks on this boss, walk to next. That's what the weak aura does for you.
Do we need to adjust the weak aura, or it does it
Yes.
by itself?
No, we have to manually punch it in with the assignments I've given you. I'll actually just log into World of Warcraft and show you the weak aura quickly. But you can keep asking other questions in the meantime.
Like for positioning, I can talk about positioning if you guys wondering. For Blumont, like because you're gonna move in a clockwise direction, so I would advise you at Blumont to move as far as you can, because when you're standing at Blumont, if you stop in the middle, that's fine, but that's gonna come a fucking train of melees and range coming in to kill Blumont at some point, and they are gonna run the shortest path. That's the Zug Brain anyway.
Wait,
Just
so you're
move-
suggesting to get closer to the Blumont?
No. Get as far as away
Okay.
from Blumont towards Celiac, because that's the path you're going to move anyway. So like when you have time, you see you can take a sidestep or whatever, move that direction. Just move up. You're making more space for the melees and range coming in later, because you're still going to go that direction. So don't try to just walk. Don't walk as little as possible and then stand there to heal, because then when you have to move your rotation towards Celiac, you have a very, very long way to walk. If you have to walk like 60 yards instead of you having to walk 45 yards to get into celiac range. So try to be on top, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but won't that make us to leave the puddle, the black thingy beneath the legs?
Yeah, you will be making puddles the whole way there anyway. Like
that's completely RNG. You cannot change, the void zones being a thing. You just have to walk around them. But Rasmus, right? Don't trigger them into the melee. So, yeah, just be far off the boss if you can and spread out. Don't be stacked. So this is the weak aura setup in custom options of the Four Horsemen Mark Counter weak aura. You can set up exactly what I just talked about. So if in the assignment sheet I've given you your first move at Mark 1, then you walk, leave it as 1. If you're Rasmu, who has been given free, he will punch in free and enter and say, oh, I'm moving every 3rd mark, but I'm starting on free. There's an additional option here to get an alarm if you take more than 3 marks. If you're new to this, you should probably leave this on. It's also going to play a sound. You can maybe deactivate this and just play by warning. This is up to you. I'm not going to tell you what's best to do here. This is a very individual setting for you. Experienced players might sometimes take more marks. People like Rasmu, who has done this fight, I don't know, a million times, they might get to 4 just because they want to get 1 more heal out because, a tank is dropping or whatever, and then move over. But this is only, something you should do when you really know what is happening and what you're doing. So
Yeah.
maybe stick to this. Just make sure you set it up.
Yeah, like what Frenny is referring to now is if I see in the rotation, because like I will note down who is moving, I will have on my second screen, and I will see the rotations. So just take an example. I see Gutimar doing wrong, and he's supposed to come and relieve me or whatever, and I see, okay, fuck, with 2 healers here now, like this guy is getting pumped. I can stay for 1 more mark, and then I just pop a shadow protection pot. That's gonna absorb everything, and then I move the next mark, and then I will just stay 2 for the next. But
Yeah.
like I have done this fight many times, so I'm confident doing it. So just don't think about it. But like if you're wondering what Frenny is talking about now, it's like you can take a shadow protection pot, and if you for the other part about this that's relevant for you is if you see yourself you already fucked up, just tell people that you fucked up because then we can adjust it. Like it's much better telling like, oh fuck, I took 4 marks, guys, I'm going to this now. That's fine. Like, and if you see you're slow as well and you're like, fuck, I forgot I took 4 marks, I'm about to take 5 marks, then you can pop a shadow protection pot and fucking leg it. Like that's your savior basically. If you can
Yeah.
ping too many marks.
Maybe just one thing about shadow protection potions, because that's how the tanks are gonna min max it, and I would advise you to do the same. So we're all gonna pre-pot a GSPP tomorrow to have it up initially, but to also free our potion cooldown for the fight. So as healers, we're very used to use mana pots. I would highly advise to not do that. Use wisdoms instead, unless you're sure you're not gonna fuck up the rotation. And the reason this is important is like keep your shadow protection cooldown. Don't just blindly repop 1 once it's out. If you want to min max it, let me give you another example first. So if you think of lower FAP, you obviously can just repop another one once the first one ran out or has been consumed, because there's going to be so much damage incoming on Inevitable Doom that it's always worth having 1 up. On Horsemen, that doesn't apply because the marks are only going to hit hard after 3. So I'm not saying don't repop 1 ever, but if you find yourself in a position where oh shit, I'm gonna take mark 4 or even 5, that's when you pre-pot another one, because you want to mitigate a large mark hitting you rather than it being eaten up by the next, I don't know, 4 corners you're gonna rotate in, and you take 500 here and 100 there, because that you can just heal up yourself or you get chain healed or hotted or whatever. So if you want to be very sweaty on this and min max it, then keep your shadow prot, look at your marks, and if you for some reason find yourself in a position where you're gonna take a big chunk, then it's when you take another GSPP. I don't want to confuse you, so just keep that in mind if you can. It's a bit of a min max, but it can also save your life if you at some stage find yourself lost in the middle of the fight. But other than this week, or you can see it running here in a test mode, it will count down for you when the next mark is going to hit. It's also going to count your total marks and then alarm you when you're supposed to move after 3 again.
Also, it has been said that healing on this fight, the only one you have to heal is yourself and the main tank that's tanking in the horse you are in proximity of. Like, of course, yeah, you can top off people taking damage. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but don't focus on it. Like, always top the tank off, see the tank is stopped, then you're allowed to do a quick flash heal on someone else and straight
Yeah.
back to tank.
So I
Because
think this.
that's what's going to wipe us. That's what's going to wipe us. If the tank dies, that's when this
Yeah.
fight is fucked. Like, if a tank
Yeah.
dies here, then we're fucked. So, like, it doesn't matter if a DPS, if he is stupid and taking 5 marks, you cannot save him. Like, there's nothing to do, basically. Like, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
And they can always move to safe spot and get bandage or healed by friendly who's gonna stand there. Like, it's not your priority to top them. Like, the only case I would say this is abnormal is on Blumo, because they can take void zone damage.
Yes.
But
That's
like the
exactly what
rest
I
you
was about
shouldn't.
to talk about. Like
Yeah.
Blue Mo is the one where this kind of rule is thrown out the window if people take void marks, which they shouldn't, but it can happen.
Yeah,
But
it's
Rasmus
still
right. The tank has
it's still
yeah.
thrown out the window. Like the life of a melee doesn't count over the life of a
Yes,
tank.
yes,
That's what I'm trying to
absolutely.
tell.
Yeah.
It's like
So if the
that's
tank
the hard
dies,
truth.
we are fucked. If the tank dies, we're
Yes.
fucked. We can still salvage one tank dying if we have somebody else quick, like picking it up quickly enough and dragging it back into the corner. But if that horseman starts running loose towards the raid, then obviously the safe spot is eliminated and everybody's going to take marks off that boss. If there's people who came out the rotation with 3-4 marks and they get a 5th mark because the horseman is running loose, they will get 1 shot maybe, depending on the health pool, right? So as Rasmus said, keeping your tank alive is your highest priority, then everybody else. So if you see, I don't know, a random melee drop on Blue Mo, I'm not saying don't heal him, but heal the tank first. So I'm not going to say this is pretty much it, but I guess this is pretty much it. It's a lot, but this is Four Horsemen rotations in a nutshell. I might go back to the assignment sheet if you have questions around what your assignment is or what what rotation you should be running tomorrow in case this is confusing. Like this took me a while to kind of, build with EXO. I hope it's easy enough to understand, but I wouldn't be surprised if anyone is confused because I've been confused with this for a bit.
Renee, just to be 110% sure, could you maybe send a picture of the kind of paint drawing you did of the rotation? The
Yes.
clockwise rotation. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I even had one. Let me just see. I think I've played around with this like a week ago. Let me just see if I still have the healer pathing. I actually do. Let me just quickly share this. Over here, I think this is maybe a bit better than the first draft we had. So this is the rotation, right? So this is 1 spot, 2, 3, 4, and you always run a rectangle except for on Zeliek where you walk out behind the pillar through the middle and then over here. Again, don't fuck with it. Sorry, this tank line, by the way, is wrong. Like, don't pay attention to this for now. It's probably up here. But yeah. I can do this again. Then leave the tank path out.
Yeah, it's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so like what I was talking about earlier about healing position for Blue Mo, you can see the blue mark there. That's your perfect position because in the green line you can see on this drawing, that's where the melees and people are going to come in like a come into damage the boss. Like they are going to walk from safe spot and directly into boss in the path. Like there's not the drawing. Yeah, that's how they're going to walk in. So if you're in this path, like it's fine, you can still be it. But like if you really want to min max it and be out of them, like you want to be here. That's where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Because you're
So
still
if one of the
moving that way.
melees, walks through you, they might trigger a void zone on you, which is not
Yes.
their fault. It's just what the boss is gonna do. So yeah, up here you're fully out of the picture because they're not gonna. I mean, melees might. Oh no, melees are not gonna run out here because they're never touching Zeliek. So that's one thing for you to know as well. There's no melees on Zeliek ever. We only have the ranged camps, so hunters, mages, warlocks. No melee is ever gonna touch Zeliek. They're always gonna be in this triangle, depending on what is still alive. Most likely we kill here. They walk over, kill here, and for melees it's really just gonna be, oh, I'm gonna go to Blemo, get 3 stacks, walk back to safe spot, wait until I drop my stuff, back to Blemo, kill it. That's what the melees are gonna do in their rotation. They'll never be up here, so this is completely perfect for you.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna start at the Blue Mo. I'm gonna be number 2, right? Yeah. Yeah, I know. I wrote it down. But still, I dropped the totems for Cortaz, right?
Just give me a second. I was want to share my screen quickly so we can follow your rotation. So yeah, you start on Mark 2 on Zeliek, yes?
Yeah, that's what I've written down. I'm making a map here, so.
So maybe let's get into totems because there's a lot of shamans, obviously in our guild, but also on Horde in general. So the one thing I've been trying to figure out today, and it came to my mind maybe a bit late, but I honestly didn't really think about it, is how are we going to manage Wind Fury uptime? And I think it's almost impossible. I've tried to make a small, like I've applied a small logic to it, but it's gonna get be thrown out the window because melees are just gonna be where they are and you'll be in your rotation, so you can't worry about having Wind Fury up for them. So
Oh.
let's just maybe walk a bit more through the logic of why I put it up this way. So the reason I have Rasmu up here in walking on Mark III is he's going to stay the longest with Giant Forge, who's going to start at Cortez. So we have Wind Fury up on Rasmu, on Giant Forged at all times, or like at least for a long time. For Cortez, that example is a bit bad because all melees and all your Wind Fury totems are going to be there anyways, right? Because that's what we said at the beginning of the meeting. All your Wind Fury totems are going to be on Cortez, so all melees have it, so we can quickly kill him. But if we apply the same to Mograine, that's not going to be the case, because then it's only going to be the Mograine Shamans that's going to be there that can provide Wind Fury to melees. So other melees will lose out, and there's nothing you can do about it. However, in terms of threat, I want to make sure that at least each tank in each corner has Wind Fury uptime for a little bit so they can build threat. So if we look at Sturwar, who's going to start on Blumo, so he's going to be top left. Blumo is going to get Christian as, well, Zio, you're going to be the first, right? So you're going to be the first Wind Fury for Giant Forge in this example because he's going to be on Blumo, but he's also going to get Christian before Rasmu is moving up. So Christian is moving from Cortez to Blumo before Rasmu moves. So when you go, Christian is going to come in and provide Wind Fury again. But Göktürk is also going to be on Blumo. Oh, sorry, Zio, it wasn't your example. This was Göktürk again. So
No, I
Göktürk is
didn't
actually going to...
understand that because I'm in group 5, so
Yeah. So Göktürk is going to be in Sturwar's group to provide Wind Fury on Blumo.
good, okay.
Sturwar has it. And this is kind of how this logic is built. So we always have, follow-up people, but also have Wind Fury up at least for the tanks. One more specific thing, and then I think I'm done, is Mograine. So Mograine deals high fire damage, and I would like to have fire resistance totems up on him as well as Wind Fury for Dazo so he can build threat. We have Mazet starting on Mograine with Incredible. So Mazet is going to be in Dazo's group, so he can provide Wind Fury and Fire Rest for the longest. However, that's not going to last, for the next move rotation. So this is the first 3 marks. However, there will be another Shaman coming in. Obviously, you won't be in the group of Dazo in that case. The only thing I could do, but I think it's going to break my brain when I even attempt it because I have a hard time, just putting this together. I could also switch Shamans mid-fight to put the right Shaman in, but I'm gonna, this is gonna be,
Would it?
super
Uh,
hard.
yeah.
I think I'm the healer coming in there, right?
So you start on Ziliak, exactly,
Yeah,
and
and then I'm
after
gonna
Mark
smoke.
2. Yes,
Could you
exactly.
just give me assist and I'll just maybe swap myself?
We could do that, sure.
Or you could get Shaman's assist, and then maybe if they know to
Yeah.
manage it.
I mean, if I find I have the overskud,
Yeah,
I have
brain
the time for
capacity.
it.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that's the best probably.
Yeah.
But like the only thing that worry me is if like people start focusing too much on this, and then they forget
Yeah.
about their tank. Him having fire S, it's more valuable you spamming a lesser heal wave rank 10 than doing this. Like that's gonna save him more than the 60 plus resistance anyway.
Yeah.
But if you're
Like-
swapping around people in the raid while we're fighting, aren't you gonna fuck up the UI for the healers?
Could get spicy.
It happens pretty
Yeah.
much every other time that then you can't click people's frames. I would not like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe a
Sure.
good point.
Also incredible, to be fair. I don't think I'll be able to pull that off at all. I have so much
Oh,
to look at.
I wouldn't ask you to.
Yeah. Yeah, good team.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just agreeing that it's a risk fucking UI up.
Yeah. So don't like maybe let's just stick to the easiest the easiest way is to not worry about it, right? There's nothing you can do to provide Wind Fury to everyone. People just have to watch their threat. If somebody has Wind Fury now and the tank doesn't, well, good for them, but they just have to watch threat. That's just that's just how it is. This is the both downside but also like upside to being Horde. Yes, we can push more damage because we have Wind Fury available. However, it can also in the specific boss fight just be counterproductive.
But see, you had a question. We didn't answer that. What were you asking, Steve, before we derailed?
It was all this basically,
Okay.
but I was
Yep.
looking at more from my my own mental perspective. If you go back to the map, Rennie.
Let's
You
give me a
having the
second.
map up?
Sorry, it's loading here. You mean this one?
Yeah, basically that one. So I start up top left, no worries. And I drop the totems first for Cortaz. They fight down there. I go up. I stand there for 2 marks. That's 24 seconds plus traveling time, right?
Plus 20 seconds from the first. Like there's no mark.
Exactly. So it's
Yeah.
quite a lot of time. Exactly
Yeah.
how fast do we expect to kill Cortaz? Because before I leave my first on 2 ticks, I could drop the empty Wind Fury totem for the league group coming up for Blue Mode.
I'm not sure I'm getting this. I have to put your volume up a bit as well, so it's quite low. So
Sorry.
no, it's better now. Okay. So your
Oh, sorry.
rotation starts on Blue Mo, right? Up
Yeah.
here. This is where you start.
Yeah.
So for you, the start of the boss fight is going to be this. You walk in, you put your totem, and you straight walk up to Blue Mo.
Yeah.
You spend no
That
time here
part.
but putting your totem down, okay?
I'm perfectly clear on that. The
Okay.
question is, when I leave Blue Mo, will Cortaz be in the really close to dying? So I should drop a new Wind Fury totem and interrupt the one downstairs, so to speak, or I leave for Celiac.
I would
Then
say
I will
no.
have-
I would just say no, because let's assume Cortaz is still alive, then we want the extra DPS. I would not waste it
Okay.
on this corner, because until people get to Blue Mo, it's going to be very late into the fight. So maybe to give you a better understanding how this fight is going to go down, and for all of us, we're going to nuke Cortez, and he's going to roughly die at Mark 3, maybe somewhere towards Mark 4, like in between what's 20 plus. So after 20 is the first cast. Is the 20 plus 12, or is it hitting on 20? I would need to double check.
Yeah, that's
think
why
they-
I'm asking, because it's really close to him dying, if I understand it right.
Yes.
I'm leaving Blue Mo, Cortaz should be dying. Really close.
Just give me a second. I'm just quickly going to look at the Frontier kill to understand if the first mark, I think they're going to cast it after 20, so it's going to be at 32, I think, but let me just confirm it so I don't get it wrong
Yeah.
here.
Sorry if I'm very specific.
See here, you
No.
wanna
Let's stick to this for a second. So I'm just going to watch this here quickly, have it open. So this is the first 20 seconds of the fight.
see here you wanna drop totems for the whoever is in the Blamore, since
Yeah, because the whole
Cortez
world team
might
and
die,
my
right?
team will come up after me, so to speak. When I'm leaving, I think they are arriving for Blue Mo. Then I'm leaving for Celiac. But if I could
No.
have a behind totem,
No, they are going Mogren. Like everyone is going to red.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
They're not going for Blue Mo
they are
before.
not
So
going. Okay,
leave your
Yeah.
totem with Cortez.
Yeah.
You don't have to put it for Blue Mo, because no one's going to be at Blue Mo for a long time.
okay.
I
I
mean,
didn't
you-
really. Yeah.
You
No,
will
I get it now.
you will most likely see Mogren die because you are 2, and then you're going to Celiac for 3 marks. That's when that's starting to die. So when you are moving down to Mogren to the red, you're probably coming in at his last shield. What I would assume, like you're coming
Yeah.
in at the last end there.
So let's just walk through this again. So 20 seconds until first mark is gonna, be applied. So the first 20 seconds is this boss getting dragged down here, 20 seconds of, fighting and putting totems until you get in position, and then the first mark is gonna hit. So then it's 12 seconds, 24 seconds, 36 seconds. Sorry, it's gonna be at 20, at 32, and then at 45 44 is gonna be mark 3. So by that mark, he's either dead or about to die. After this, all DPS, all ranged, all melees are going to move over to Mograine and do the same thing there. They'll try to kill
Yeah,
him
that's
within
what I
3-4
misunderstood.
marks.
That's what I
Yeah.
misunderstood. And
So
then
the
it's Blue
pathing
Mo.
for the path while you are running this rectangle, the melees and the DPS are going to run a zigzag. So they're going to run over here to Mograine. They're going to go straight up to Blue Mo after they either have to walk out or Mograine dies. That depends on the damage. If they kill him, nice. Walk out, go to Blue Mo. If they don't kill him, they have to leave at some stage, right? Because they'll take too much damage.
Makes sense.
And then they go up to Blue Mo, and this is just for melees. They're gonna stay here, and then they have to eventually get to safe spot. Ranged can take Celiac additionally, right? Because they can take 3 marks here. So after Blue Mo for ranged, they'll go over to Celiac, whilst the melees walk back to safe spot. So like
Yeah, I
Rasmus
get
said,
it.
yeah, okay. So this
Does,
is now 3 pieces coming together, right? Yeah, Gudima?
Will casters path out in and out from Seeleg be the same as healers?
No. So the casters have a different path. So this is actually not accurate because this is just a healer rotation, right? The casters are actually not going to walk straight over into this camp. They'll be walking up here, and their range DPS is here. So
Yeah,
the
I
caster
guess
will run
we
up
don't have
here.
to worry as healers, actually.
No, you don't, but it's good to know. So the casters will kind of, walk out up here, so they don't interfere with the healers. So this is their path up here. So the mirror tank path, right? So if this is the tank path,
Yeah,
they're gonna
exactly.
run this way. Yeah.
So another question to see whose question. Is there then a downside as restomping totems if you can see your horse is about to die? Then maybe whoever is in your group, whenever they go to, like maybe it's a tank relieving or whatever. Maybe
There's
they
no
have.
downside. No.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying leave it until the horse dies because that's more important than
Yeah, of
min-maxing it
course.
on another horse.
Yeah.
So leave it there until that horse dies.
Yeah.
If you know,
Others dies.
I'm about to, if you know, I have to leave this place now, or whatever place you are, I have to leave now, but the other horse is dead. Yeah, restomp it where you're at.
Yeah. Then
That
maybe you
makes
hit
sense.
someone at some point.
Like also a very min-max thing here, but of course we got the still wisdom, so this is kind of the point. But at least before, when this fight, we're usually doing this. The norm wasn't to spam the still wisdom. So like, say you're Sihu, and you're going blue, and then you go yellow, and you're coming down to Mogren. When you're coming down there, you're gonna see him most likely die, or like very close to die, and then people gonna take damage, and you're gonna go into safe spot. You're gonna be safe spot for the 3 marks then. In the safe spot, there's very little healing going on. Like, people are stacked up. You can use rune cloth bandage on them, and don't cast the spell because there's no spell for you to cast, and you will have crazy regen because you're out of the 5-second rule. Like, there's no spot healing there. Like, people coming in, they're gonna stand there for 90 seconds. There's no stress of topping them. Like, you can literally just stop casting, and then you will regen all your mana standing in the safe spots.
Quick thing, Rasmus, you said earlier like we should never ever use a mana pot, right?
Yeah,
we should say potion cooldown for Greater Shadow and then just spam distilled.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Like, mana is not going to be an issue in this fight. Like, we're not going to go like it's not healing intensive in that fight, like in that matter, basically. Like, of course, if you burn mana, if you want to burn, you can go but like, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And like, at least
Also,
for like,
I wouldn't. That's for the priests now. I probably wouldn't advise to like perma flash heal everything you see light up in your raid UI. This is probably one of the very few fights where you don't have to go for the min-max pass, flash heal spam. Maybe it's better to, use a greater heal or whatever you have at hand. That's
I posted like some good suggestions from
Okay.
the cozy priest and the priest.
Because I
channel.
know we're all used to. I mean, you priests are probably used to flash healing a lot, which is great for hardcore. But I think in this specific fight, you might just run yourself for no reason.
yeah, I was just about to say this as well, because like, if you really want to time it good, you look at your tank. So say you're healing at Celiac or Mogren, whatever, and you target your tank because that's when you're healing, and you see like, okay, Daiso, I'm healing Daiso, healing Daiso. 1 mark, like maybe Daiso has 2 marks when you're coming in. So you're gonna heal Daiso on the swap. And if you see the 3rd mark is going out, that's your cue to load up a big heal wave. Just start loading it on 2 seconds, because you know the mark is going to hit exactly, and that meaning you have 0.5 seconds after, you're going to land a big heal on the market, because the market is a guaranteed damage on everyone there, including the tank taking a big hit. So that's the same with priest, like greater heal and all this is really good casting when you see the tank you're healing at that side. If he's starting to get high mark, just like mark 3, that's like 3k damage. You know he's going to take 3k damage plus the melee. So it's really good to load up like a big heal, then like you have time for it.
And if you remember, as a priest, you can also inner focus max when greater heal as the mark you need to go on to min max the MP5 rule.
Yes, but of course now I'm going into the really big details of these fights when you have really good experience on it. But I'm just putting it out there anyway, like if you want to.
Okay, great. If there's more questions, just please throw them at us.
Just double checking 100% on the Vigora. I'm in group 1, so I just put first move at mark 3 and every move on Sorry.
So for
First
all
move
of
is
you,
one.
for all of you, it's always going to be walk on mark, like on walk every 3 marks. That's not going to change for any one of you.
Yeah. So the one. Well, I'll just. The one on
You're
the left
starting-
side, I type in 1
Yes.
on 3.
Yes. So
All right.
first move at mark is going to be 1 for you, and then move every X mark is going to be
Yeah.
3.
Just
Yeah.
double checking.
Nah, I
if
still
you're-
don't get it. For example, the Hexen, I'm starting on Blue Moo, right?
Mhm.
Then, as soon as get 1 Blue Moo mark, I go to Zeliak, right?
Correct.
Yes.
And do I stay at the Zeliak till I get 3 marks, or
Yes.
I have to? Yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. After those Zeliak 3 marks, I go to Morgraine and get 3 marks at the Morgraine.
Correct.
And so on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Like
I've
the
shared
first
my.
one is just the initial. The first one is just the initial to set up the whole rotation for every healer.
Yeah. I kind of understand, but I don't know. Should be fine.
Let's walk you through an example, DX, and this is no issue. This is important for us to understand. So let's just do it. So let me just check quickly.
Maybe show the video with the 3 healer groups where it show you have one group move every mark.
Yep. Let me just find it quickly. I think I've closed it.
By the way, Resmu and Frinny, you also have a few minutes after for Resuvius, by the way. Just some like final touches, I guess.
Okay, so let's open. Almost there. This is tanks. This is DPS. Okay, let's go to healers. So, here we are. This is the video. Just we pull up your rotation here as well. Just have so many windows open. I'm getting lost in my own chaos here. Four Horsemen healers. There we go. Sorry, Hexen. Your rotation is the following. You are assigned to start on Blue Mo, wait for 1 mark, and then move every 3. So Blue Mo is up here, right? This is your starting point.
Yeah.
So you start here until you get the first mark, which is going to be 20 seconds after the boss fight has started. So the first 20 seconds is no mark. This is where we all position and do our thing. And at second 20 of the fight, this is where you get first mark. Then you start moving over to Zeliak. On Zeliak, you wait for 3 marks on Zeliak or your total mark counter of 4. So you can always separate these. We look at individual marks or a total count. The total count is the one in the left column of the rotation sheet. So 1, 4, 7, 10 is totals, but it's 3 individually per boss. So you start on Blue Mo, take 1, walk to Zeliak, take 3, walk to Morgraine, take 3, walk to Cortas, take 3, walk to Blue Mo, take 3. And this is in total marks 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, and so forth.
Yeah.
If you have questions, please ask. I've been through the same fucking chaos in my head, so
No,
blaming anyone.
I mean, I do understand, but in practice, it's going to probably be more stressful, but should be doable.
I think it should be, and I don't want to sound rude, but I think this should be fairly easy because all you have to watch is either the weak aura or your own debuff counter. So all individual marks have a different, logo. You can always hover over them to double check if you're looking at the right one. The most, what's the word?
Here, I can share a video here of Shaman doing it from. Just found a random YouTube video. Let me see.
I wouldn't, Rasmus, because they sometimes ran weird rotations.
Yeah, they do, but he runs. You get, because like, have you seen where you get the marks? Even have you just seen the marks on a player when he gets the mark? Because like it can be nice for the visual to get this.
I'll show you on the Frontier next
Yeah, I've
video here.
seen the Frontier.
Yeah.
This fight. Like, I know how marks look.
Yeah.
So they have a different weak aura here, which I'll maybe try to find because they are a bit better. This is going to show which mark when the next mark is applying, and then it shows the total counter of which mark you have. But you could also see the same information here.
So literally, once I get 3 marks, I have
You start
12
walking.
seconds to move to the next designated boss.
Yes. And even if you're a bit late and you still get number 4, it's not the end of the world. You just take a little bit more damage. 4 is
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
kill you. So 4 is 1k damage. You're absolutely fine if you start moving a bit late.
And the in case I stay like for 4 marks, other healers should not give a fuck. They keep their rotation, so it's
Yes.
on me.
If you overstay, and that's where you fuck yourself a little bit. If you overstay to, let's say, 4, you have to understand, oh, I'm only going to be for 2 marks on the next, because otherwise you lose it completely. You'll lose your own rotation completely, because now you've taken an additional mark on a boss you shouldn't. So you have to make up for it somewhere, which is the next boss. So instead of 3 on the next, because you've taken 4 on the first one, you only take 2, and then you walk again.
Oh, okay.
So make sure you stick to the 3.
Yeah, so the sum should be the same.
So it's really just getting in position, taking as many marks as you're assigned to take, and then walking every 3. That is really just the whole rotation for you. All of you.
But like I'm gonna show it here because like this guy, you're number 2, aren't you? You were 2. The
The
Hexen.
Hexen is 2, yes.
Yes. So here you
Oh
can
no,
see.
the Hexen is 1. He's 1.
He's 1.
He's 1.
Okay. This guy, because this guy that has this YouTube video, he's number 2. He's walking 2 basically. So you can see his rotation here. So I'll go live. Can you see the screen here of Shaman Healer?
Yes.
Like, don't care how they move or how they do the boss. Like, this is an old video. They're doing it 4-4. They're not doing the burn strat as us, but like just his movement. This is the pull. So like now the pull, they do wrong first of all, like celiac, but like that's fine. You're gonna see. I'm gonna pause here. Like now first mark
Sorry
drop.
to interrupt. Is this our weak aura we are using? Like,
Yeah.
it's the visual.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So like there, first mark drop now. This is after 20 seconds. You can see top right, you see my cursor
Yeah.
here. He got the mark from celiac because the celiac tank was too slow. So he got the mark from celiac. Don't care for this. You're not gonna have this. It doesn't matter. If this happens to you as well, it doesn't matter. But he got 1 mark from Mograine here now. That's after 20 seconds. Now this is counting 12 seconds. This is the weak aura you're gonna have. This is mark 1, and here comes another one. He's healing this tank in Mograine here. There he got 2. The weak aura told him move. Now you can see he had 2 marks up here with my cursor, and he's moving towards Mograine. This is the boss we are gonna burst with the meteor. Like now he runs over here. Like he's stopping now because he's unsure about the meteor coming in.
This
So like
is
yeah,
suicidal, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Can you even lost it? Like,
Yeah. So now you see he took another mark. Like if I pause here, like don't care for this in the middle because this is irrelevant. This is a mistake of them. He moved on 2 now basically from the first horse, meaning this guy is number 2 in the movement sheet Frenny's posted. Now he took another mark from Cortez, and he's gonna stay here now for 3 marks. So he's just gonna stand here. Says now comes another mark. There he has 2 marks. Now the next is coming in 8 seconds.
We should pixel stack here as well, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah,
Now the
melee
weak.
and range camp.
Now the weak aura told him to move again because he has 3. So now he's moving to the next. Now he's moving up to blue.
So
Mode.
just 1 second, Resmo. Can you stop,
Wait,
please?
he moved out while the
Yeah,
Yes.
called meteor.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Yes.
I just want to, we have to ignore most of this. Like like what Rasmus is showing us is correct in terms of the movement. So just pay attention to this.
Yes.
We're not gonna have 1 pixel stack on
Yes.
the boss and stuff.
Yeah. Don't care for what they are doing about the bosses. Or just care about this and this. Like
Yeah,
that's
okay.
all
No,
you
I mean, like, I understand. It's fine. It's just
Yeah. So for the whole next of this boss now, like I haven't even seen the whole video, but now he's gonna be now he got 1 mark on Blumo here. He had the void zone on him. You can see the void zones here, and now he's only gonna take 3 marks all horses. Like this doesn't count for him anymore now. Like he's taking 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 all the way. He's just walking one direction and 3 all the time.
And this is the place you were suggesting to go more to the right
Yes.
side from his point of view, like closer
Yeah.
to the next boss.
Yep. So now it says move to him. So now
Can
he's
you
moving.
pause here?
Yep, can
So
pause
this
it.
is kind of where you want to be, right? Like on a little bit on the
This
left where
far?
he is.
No,
bit
no,
back.
this is too far. Like I would suggest being here with my cursor.
Okay, okay.
Wait, can you
Of course,
move it like
you
top
min
left?
maxing.
If I walk, can you just play, and I'll tell when to pause. So like here, I was thinking to stand, like a bit, maybe a little bit back,
No,
because
I
then you
think it's
don't block the path for the melees that run in and out.
yeah, but I think it's too long because like this horse, this is Blumo. He is getting tanked all the way on this wall. You never know where he's gonna be.
Oh yeah, you don't know the tank, so you have to
Yes,
be somewhat.
yes,
Yeah, good
because
point,
they
good
can
point.
come a void zone here, and then Stillwar has to drag him here.
Yeah, and then
like
if you're
you
all the
don't
way on the
wanna-
right,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Okay, I see.
yes.
Good point.
Because like this is getting moved. Like ideally, this horse dies in here, but Stillwar he should start tanking him at like here, then move it here, move, and then go back here. Like he's just gonna move against this wall all the time, back and forth like this. So your ideal position on this would be like I can go a bit back. Like your ideal position would kind of be on this. Like I would say this is your ideal position.
Yeah,
On
okay.
the voids on here.
Yeah.
Because like when what you want to avoid is if I go back even back here. You can play. The path of the melees, they are going to run on top of these stairs and down these stairs and then into the boss. That's going to be their pathing for this boss. So if you stand here, you're on top of where they are going to run, basically, straight into the boss. That like you can even be here, like that's fine, or you can be under the skull or whatever. But like I wouldn't suggest because the worst thing you can do is stop here. So say you're in range of Stillwar and you start to heal Stillwar here. That's fine. Like you can still heal your tank. But then when you have to move, or when you gotten 3 marks, you have such a long way to move all the way here before you're over to Celiac. It's gonna take you more time moving.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that's why you kind of want to start cheesing, being where the druid is, and that's. So now the whole fight for him is going to be 3 marks, 3 marks, 3 marks, and like we can see if he goes into the safe spot or not. Like don't care for his position. Like this is wrong. Like he can get a chain lightning now. This is really bad. Do you see?
There you have it.
Yep. And if that was a range camp there now, that would have been a wipe.
And then you have a healer from the safe spot camp also crossing over skull, right?
Yeah,
chaining it into the safe spot, and you wipe the whole raid.
Like you have some guilds you can use healers standing here as well, because that's not going to chain. But like that's another topic. You can see what he does now when if there's dead horses. So now he's back. Now he's back to the horse where he first moved, and you can see all his marks drop, like 1-3 celiac, and he's back to Mograine from where we started to see the fight, and he doesn't have a Mograine. So now he's going 3-3-3-3-3 all the time. Now it says move again, and now it's in. Like this is a really old video of them doing the slow, like they're doing the super complicated movement stuff. If that made anything more clearer, at least.
Yeah, no,
your
it's
movement.
like I understand the theory. I just wanted to more like visualize to understand since I've never done this on Classic.
Yep. Like as long as you run in one direction, you usually are fine. We can always catch up, and like the healing in the back of the horses is not that heavy. Like most of these bosses can be 2 healed, so like I'm not too worried if 1 healer fucking it up. Like it's gonna be fine if 2 healers fucking it up. It's fine. But if we have like half the healers fucking it up, then we have a problem. But like 1 healer here and there, that's gonna be totally fine and it can be managed. And especially with this burn strat, because we're gonna have so many healers available at some point anyway, and we have even Frenny in the safe zone that we can send anywhere we want.
Okay, cool. Any more questions? Maybe just
not for
also
me.
sit. Yeah, maybe just also sit with it. Look at it yourself a bit. Watch a fight if you. If there's anything that doesn't make sense, I'm here for questions. You can just pop me a Discord message and I can come. I'll be here, all day tomorrow as well. But by tomorrow night, we, should know how this kind of comes together. Yeah, but this is pretty much Four Horsemen for healers.
One more question in regard. Sorry. regarding the weak aura. So the first move at mark in my I should put there first, right? Because I move on the
Yes.
first mark. Then
Yes,
I move
correct.
every 3 marks, and alarms also stays at 3.
Correct.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah. I think there was another question.
Not from me. I'm just saying it feels very clear now. It comes down to execution.
Yes.
Like if
But I
you're
do have one more question though.
yes, go.
This video we watched last, this shaman Green Hell, he was
Yeah.
really upfront in the face of every boss.
Yeah. Like that's not. We will be stacking.
We have our
roughly.
camps,
Yeah,
which Rennie
roughly.
showed us earlier.
Because there seemed to be like so much more max range to stay close to the skulls.
Say that again.
I just felt he was so upfront. It was
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
because he's bad. Like, don't ignore this.
Yeah.
No, that's
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah,
It's just the truth. It's because they're bad players and they play this boss fight completely different from what we are. They don't burn 2 bosses as we are planning to do. They are playing a full rotation of everyone all the time. So, yeah. I posted another picture in the Discord. Again, you just always be stacked except for Blumo. You can use the spots I marked there that we just talked about. I posted a new picture. Don't run into the boss. Don't just max range, heal your tank if you can, I guess is a good rule of thumb. Blumo, you can be a bit, closer, but make sure you max range on Zeliek. On Mograine, you can, spread out a little bit if you want to. On Cortez, you're going to be there for, the first couple of seconds of the fight until he dies. They don't have to worry about him anymore in the Meteor. That's why we get him out the way first.
But like I actually have a question because like I saw you were planning on having different ranged and healer camp on Celiac. Like
Yes.
what's the point of it? Because like if people are out of range, they're out of range. Is it just safety because chain or?
Yeah, it's I don't have a this is why I do it. It's something I used to. This is what I used to do with my
Yeah,
old guild.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I think it's also just giving a bit more space for people to, do a mistake.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah. Okay. If we are done with Four Horsemen, I just very quickly, it's 5 minutes, want to talk about Resuvius and Gothic. So for Resuvius, for you as healers, you have to understand it's a different healer perspective because on Resuvius, nobody should be taking damage if we play the boss fight, right? So the only ways to take damage on Resuvius is if people get the disrupting shout. So that's also applicable to you. So for Resuvius, remember, all mana users on disrupting shout will get a 1-to-2 ratio damage conversion of their mana. So if you have 4k mana left and you get hit by the shout, you'll take 8k damage.
Without armor.
Without armor, that's unmitigated. Yeah, that's unmitigated armor damage. So I hope you remember what, from the first meeting, what the fight is all about. Again, you will be able to line of sight this mechanic, and you should at all times. We're also going to start low on mana, so this doesn't happen. But more specifically for you as a healer healing the fight, there isn't going to be much raid damage unless either people fuck up, or we have, something happening with like very bad RNG. But from a healing perspective, the 4 off tanks who are tanking the understudies, and it's only going to be 3 active at a time, they will take very little damage by the understudies. You still need to heal them, but it's not like main tank healing on Gluff or whatever. It's very chill healing. They shouldn't take too much damage. One thing that you kind of need to figure out for tomorrow, and that's why I'm bringing this up, is the understudies can be healed when they're mind controlled, and we should heal them. Not saying go nuts because these are, I don't know, several hundred of thousands HP mobs. You'll not be able to top them like you'll top Giant Forge because they have that much HP, but you can pop heals on them. So just keep that in mind. And for Gothic, depending on which side you're on, so either living or undead, there's going to be more damage on undead because there's more mobs and more melees involved. There's mostly going to be shamans on undead tomorrow, so you can just chain heal into the melee packs easily. That's why we bring the shamans to the undead side. Just make sure there's nothing specific. There's going to be quite a bit of movement because the mobs spawn in, 4 different locations or 5 different locations. So melees will have to move around a lot. So just make sure you, kind of are in range of your melees, but that should be fine. It's not too big of a room. But yeah, it's 2 fairly straightforward healing fights. Nothing as, crazy as Four Horsemen. But yeah, I think Kujima, we can take your thing separately.
I have a question too.
hmm
For the interrupting shout, what if we're going to be in line of sight with mind controls? Do we have to interrupt that to run out?
So
No. I can
no.
show.
So wait. So Resuvius, on when Gutima's gonna pull Resuvius, he's gonna put Resuvius out of line of sight from your position. So this applies for you to mind controlling priest. You'll be on the right side of the ramp, which is out of line of sight of the boss. So he'll be on your right, so he cannot disrupting shout you through the wall. Other healers, however, because they're not in a mind control spot, they might need to run out to heal the understudy, which you both cannot do because you're busy mind controlling. So you guys will just be in your spot. You'll always be safe from disrupting shout unless Resuvius starts moving, which he shouldn't.
I will position. I can show you how to position. Oh, that was also a question I wanted to bring up. How healers always can stay out line of sight.
Yes.
I'll just show real quick. Or make a suggestion. So I'm gonna turn Resuvius. Wait, let me just.
Because like same for you, Lund. Like you're second one to mind control, Lund, aren't you? Or
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So what I would do if I were you, just have only 2k mana. Like mind control costs like 1000 mana, doesn't it? I think I remember it costs like 1000.
I can check now.
Yeah, probably.
Cost
Yeah. So if you
750.
Yeah, so meaning you only need 2k mana basically to cast 2 mind control, and you will regen, and that will never kill you basically. Like there's no you're not doing any heals, you're just doing mind control. So whenever you have mana, just burn it, just do buffs before you go in or whatever. So you're low at mana. You only need 2k to do mind control, nothing else. And if
No,
receivers is to go around the corner to shout you, you're fine.
I was just wondering if it interrupted my cast, like if it
It
cast
will.
mind
It
control.
will. So,
will,
so
yeah.
you have to. Can you hop on my screen?
Yeah. Second. Yeah. Sorry.
So we will be standing right here. Will be the mind control spot, like up against the wall,
Yeah.
and Resuvius will be here. You can see
Ah,
here.
yeah.
So this is the mind control priest. He's burning mana, I believe. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna use the Nomus stealth device thing. So you don't like follow me. I have to do the pull first before you can run down because I don't know the pull range because we're not gonna mind sooth. It can resist. You can use the device if you have engineering. And yeah, you can see here. Oh wait, yeah, now he uses it, so he's invisible around when Resuvius is here. And then he's gonna run until you get into mind control range. So this is around, that's gonna be the spot, right?
Yeah.
Mind controls. Here, in this spot. Everyone goes on that. He's gonna, yeah, looks like he's just right clicking. And then he's gonna like walk around here. Like this.
Into the
So
corner.
now healers can heal without being shouted.
Yeah. Okay.
So people are just gonna be standing
Seems
here, line of sighting
fairly easy.
Resuvius. And then I can see already now. I think, wait. I don't know if we can see the taunt, because that was my other thing I wanted to ask about is when will the second priest start casting mind control? And I guess when 8 seconds is left on taunt, I guess would be around when you need to mind control second that.
Yep, sounds good.
Then you have
Also-
time so for casting if resist happens.
We just have to press the shield wall and then the taunt, right?
Yeah, I would do that.
In that order.
Just one thing, but
Yeah.
Gutima knows this, like on pull, you have to attack the boss. Like you have to make sure to actually right click the boss to auto attack him because you cannot just like you can still taunt him obviously, but like there's been cases in which like Resuvius just ignores the mind controlled understudy because it hasn't been attacked and it just ran for somebody else. So just keep that in mind.
And
Like,
you're just gonna position on top of me when you mind control. Just walk exactly on top of my understudyling,
Yeah.
and then yeah. Look and oh yeah, we have to I guess to run out to whoever. Yeah, the tank.
Yes.
Have to remember that when we break MC, walk to
Yeah.
the tank and break it.
Because this is another point for you two healers is like when they did the swap there, like the insta drop, that's fine. But like you still holding the MC for longer when you're not tanking, that's fine. Because if your understudy is low, you can just hold them here when they dropped it, and we can top it off. And
Yeah.
then you drop it. Like there's no point of, you don't have to drop it instantly after it's taunt off anyway. Like if he's low and we see we're afraid of losing an understudy, we can literally just hold it there and we can top it off because he's not going to take damage. Like 90k, we're going to top off so quick.
Yeah. I'll just drag a giant in real quick.
And the same I would say for all shamans, if you guys are still here, from the shaman. Like I would walk down to where you see he is mind controlling and drop your totems and then go back up where you see they're standing to heal line of sight. Just go down so they get Wind Fury and then go back up.
I have two
makes
small
sense.
clarifying questions here. So first of all, non-priests or non-MCing priests and all other healers are doing nothing on pull, except the total boss.
Yeah, don't do anything. Let's
Yeah.
okay. I'll show you here. I already plan what I do if I get a resist on pull. So let's say this I resist here. This is possible, 1% resisting. Okay, let's say this was a resist. I'm instantly gonna pop lip and start casting another mind control. And then I'm gonna right click Resuvius with this guy and take off Resuvius, and then I'm just gonna hope the understudy links are getting picked up by like Hunter shooting them or tank picking them up. If I get 2 resist, I think people will spam target dummy and pray to God I don't get 3. But that's super unlikely.
Okay, and the disrupting shout, does that also remove my mana, or
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
only interrupting?
It's mana burn.
No, it will
and
burn your mana and convert it into physical damage.
Okay.
But then again, the like Resuvius should always be out of your line of sight, so you should never get it. If you sorry, this is you anal, sorry. So for you, you don't need to be in line of sight for the boss. I'm just saying you can. Like again, the understudies should be visible for you without having to be in line of sight of the boss, right? Because the understudies are going to be tanked by the tanks on the left, visible to you. So you can still
Yeah.
heal the understudy without having to, you know, be in line of sight of the boss.
That's what I meant with positioning Resuvius here and the understudying here. Then you can like free access to understudy without.
Like if we even want, if you see where his buffs are located and you see his Onyxia and DMT buff, like you can even have all the people stand on top of the buffs there, and then they will be only line of sight for the tanks that are tanking and the understudies, and you will be 100% in line of sight. But then you can't heal the understudy, but that's gonna be fine. Like you can either stand up there, like I personally, but you guys shouldn't. I'm gonna stack on the priests. Like I personally gonna stack on the priest because then I'm in range for dropping target dummy around the corner and stuff. But
Totems
that's
as
again,
well, I guess.
yeah,
I don't know the
yes.
range. Can totems line of sight?
No, they shouldn't.
Okay.
Not after they're applied. But I personally, I'm going to standing on top of the priest, but you shouldn't. Like stand either where the CG buff are or where the DMT buffs are, because then you're 100% line of sight, but you're not going to heal the understudy that well. But that's fine. Like the understudy doesn't need to be healed when they're tanking. We can top that up after. Like if we really want
Yeah,
to
so
be
don't
safe.
worry about healing too
Yeah,
much. You know, the
yeah.
understudies, they will not like easily die, and you'll also not be able to top them off to 100 all the time because they have lots of HP. So, and they will be shield walling, right, when they taunt. So,
yes,
and it's
Also,
always going to be up. So.
Try and remind Lund or everyone that we need headgear to swap, like on Falina as well, of course. Like just remind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one more thing, like don't
I'll
move
take
around.
that into my notes.
Yeah. And don't move around after mind controlling, after taunting. Unless you see Rasirius goes a weird position, but like just stand exactly on top of me and then taunt. Just so he doesn't like move out of loss or like, yeah.
On top of the mind control guy, right?
Yeah. So you can see like, I don't know if you can see it.
We're gonna be
He
standing
kinda,
at the same.
yeah.
There are
Just
two mind
one.
controls, right? Sorry.
Yes.
So you're gonna do the like a taunting rotation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they take turns. So while Gutima has his understudy mind controlled and taunt is running, Lund will take the second one, let's say 8 seconds before the mind control is ending. We'll start mind controlling, walk him over to Resuvius, wait for taunt to almost be out, taunt, and then Gutima's running his one out for the tanks to pick up, so Gutima can break his mind control and then take the next for take over on Lund again. So the 2 are always going to be in rotation.
Do we have a specific order, or do you just pick one?
It's going to start on Gutima, and then it's you, and then it's the same.
You
No,
mean
I mean
understudy
for the
link?
guard. Yeah,
No,
do I have to take
you, yes,
blue?
yes. We kind of have to establish an order because they will be immune to mind control if you've just done it, you know, a minute ago, whatever the cooldown is.
Like you should get two. Like what's normal here is
So-
you get two marks each. So like you say, Gutimar is skull and cross, and then you're moon and square, and you will always be moon and square, and Gutimar will always be cross and
And I just
skull.
switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the worst case, let's say the fight is super long. Right after you break your mind control, spend your time, click on each of the understudy links to see which one has the lowest cooldown on mind control. Because they get like a immunity buff, I think, right?
Yes, 1 minute immunity.
Which you should be able to see it.
Yep.
Like
Ah,
worst case. And sorry, Giant, just tracking you up. Wait, you still here? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. I
Um,
just woke up.
Yeah. I just remembered we spoke, so I think tanks should be aware of when we break our mind control. I don't know if if we have like an official spot where we pick it up.
No,
Has this been discussed? Or
we don't have an official spot where we
Okay.
pick the understudies up. But
So the understudy should be walked back to the tank camp.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like they walk just here, have a tank.
Yeah.
Just make sure the tank is ready. Yeah, break it and pick up.
Yeah.
And then I guess we want the tank around this corner, like maybe just standing here in case there's a heartbeat break. Then you can instantly taunt it off.
Yeah, that's what I can just stand on that corner, like in front of you. So I'll just walk up there. The first thing I do, and I just stand there.
Yeah.
And
so
I mean,
Pike, Stalwart, Dazo are going to be off tanking on the side, and then Giant with his ult will be at that corner to pick up, you know, any loose mind control breaks.
And these guys don't one shot, right? The understudies if I'm getting bonked by one. Or maybe.
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out. Maybe, hopefully
Wouldn't try
not.
to find it out.
Yeah, but if we have no heartbeat, like this should be a chill fight.
Yeah.
Like if you're not the mind control priest, you can roll shields on the mind controlling priests, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, that would be nice.
I don't know how the rolling of shields work, but
You
it's
could.
an idea.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be spamming the fucking understudy that's tanking, hoping to have inspiration on him. It's big. As well. But like it's information we don't need. Like it doesn't matter if they die eventually. Like you can't just lose it first. That's the worst.
Was that Resuvius shout every 15 seconds?
Can see.
20, isn't
The
it?
one which
Let's see this one. You have like a set time on it. And let's see.
I think it's 20, isn't it? Or like 25.
25.
Okay. So in that window gap, you can heal, and
Yeah, you
once
can-
it's closer, you can just LOS.
Yeah.
Yep.
So to be honest, I mean, you have Inji, right?
Yeah.
I would low key probably also stand here, like on pre-spot, and as Rasmo, like be ready to pop in with target dummies. Because again, it's only like in the shout you need to line of sight. So if you stand like close up, you are ready to go in and target them if need to be.
Yeah, of course.
Like he, if I remember correctly, he also have a line he says before the shout every time. Like there's a line, I don't remember it on top of my head,
We can
but
check.
I always had like the rule of thumb we had was like before DBM time and stuff. We always had like, okay, he shouted, now he's gonna do the shout. Did he say anything?
I can't see it because my vampire's camera is over the chat.
I'm pretty sure.
But I think I remember the same Rasmo. I think he
Yeah,
has this
stand
one
and
line
fight.
that he always shouts.
Stand and fight, he says.
Yeah.
Stand and fight, then it's like 5 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like that was always the call before to go out. Like you saw the line and then you walk out. That's what we used before. Before the DBM times.
I mean, he shouts stand and fight, and you just LOS.
Yeah.
But as a priest, just go out like a bit earlier, because it's as a mage you would want to stay in and
Like,
min-max
like,
it, but not as a
like
priest.
to be fair, like you're just confusing people with going in and out because like there's no one taking damage in line of sight. Like the only reason you want to have line of sight to is the understudy tanking, and you're gonna have line of sight to anyway without exposing yourself. So like you're kind of doing it wrong by going into his line of sight. Like you shouldn't do it ever.
As a
Like-
healer, yes.
Yeah, as a healer. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like you.
As a healer, you can stand out of line of sight for the whole
Yes,
fight, and you should be
yes.
happy
Yep.
happy days to heal everything.
Yep.
The DPS casters don't have the luxury, so this applies to
Yep.
them still that they need to
Yes.
LOS, but to you it shouldn't.
Yes. We should be line of
So
sight.
for all I care, you
100%.
can all be on that ramp behind each other,
Yes.
and just spam into the understudies, and then you're good to go. Cool. Are we good on everything? Ready for tomorrow or not?
Yeah.
Military
Yeah.
wing hype.
Nice. Cool. Well, then let's wrap it up. It's been a good meeting, I guess. Again, if you still have questions coming up, then please just, before tomorrow night, just shoot them my way. Ask, your class leaders, ask Rasmu, whoever's available, somebody you trust, just reach out, ask. Then we can figure stuff out. And then let's put it off tomorrow and kill some shit.
Sounds like a good plan. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Nice.
Thank you guys for joining.
Thanks
And yeah,
for-
see
Yeah,
you
thanks.
tomorrow latest. Yeah, sure.
Did it take
Bye.
2 hours?
Yes.
Nice.
Nobody's getting short meetings here, Giant.
Fuck yeah. No short meetings.
No.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Yeah.
Bye. Good
Bye.
night.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, bye.
What did you want to talk about, Gizmo, now? Like you said you had something after.
that was basically it.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
A short question on Frostress. Can you check here,
Yep.
Rasmus?
Yeah.
Don't you think it's super nice if I run like Banshee Finger, this neck, and then I have the ring, which is, what is it, 20 or 25? Wait, I can check, yeah.
Yeah, 25.
So that's 65 plus the cloak, that's like 30 with the enchant on.
Yep.
So that gives 90, I guess.
Mhm.
That should be all good, yeah.
Yeah, you should be good.
Yeah.
Like the last piece I would ever go, if you decide to go one more, you go NG Trinket for the 22.
Yeah. But
Oh, it's 33 on Priest, yeah.
this is good, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And this can be really good.
Yeah, that one is crazy when it procs.
Yeah.
But of course, you can go the case as well if you just still spam. But like, you don't want to get into that habit anyway. It's nicer to wait.
No.
Mm-hmm. Can I do what? It's so super hard. Walk in with my druid. Oh, lock in. Yes. Sorry, you're hard to hear. I don't know. Your microphone seems like very far. Sure. I do indeed have a cool hat.
Oh, hat maxing. Let's go. Are you gonna be Commissar Friendshaved? Let's go.
Can give you even cooler hat. My KT hat.
KT hat type.
Um,
In front of the bank.
can I show one more thing here? Wait. This is also to you, Lund, because as I heard, there's a bug that, let's say, I'm now mind controlling one and I taunt Vesuvius, and I have whatever, let's say 15 seconds left. Then there's a heartbeat break, and I've heard that there's a bug, or there's a risk of this taunt. Like instead of Vesuvius going on next on Fred, which should be the mage, the taunt carries on to the priest, which means Reservius needs to run this distance to send you straight back to Brittle. So if there's a break, I think we talked about, you have to instantly Petri.
Yeah,
You
or lip,
if
I guess.
no, because the reason why you should not lip
Ah,
is because
Passing on.
there is something weird with threat transfer when you lip, and then maybe Reservius might go on someone else. I think you do a correct threat wipe if you do a Petri. That's what I heard. Hansuk told something about this, so always like try and Petri.
Yeah, we'll try to.
And you have to be fast, right?
I mean,
I might.
I'm just gonna target Reservius always and see his target of target. If it's ever on a priest, I'm just fucking sending him. Like, who cares?
Lippe we taunt, then I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you're gonna do that, but
And then shield wall mocking into taunt.
yeah, you're gonna get one shot, I think, even in shield wall. So
Yeah, yeah.
just
Oh no, shield wall, you're fine. You're taking a hit. Like
really.
yeah. I've I've been part of us having shield wall pull on start. Like the tank at some point were so fed up with when we were not progressing, but doing this on farm. He just went in, taunted the boss shield wall, and backpedaled it when the priest mind controlling. You can take hits with shield wall
Okay.
because he needs to do the ability as well for you to die. Like all his attack is not the ability basically that kills you. You can be lucky.
Verona, what do you need? Okay. Okay. Thank you for recording.
Yeah, thanks, Verona.
Yeah, that's gonna be an issue with some healers not being here for the meeting. So I don't know if, I mean, they can watch it, but yeah, if they have questions.
Yeah, they can just ask me, Press heal
Oh.
on tank. Good.
You gotta fight heal.
Thumbs up.
Heal on tank, great.
Heal on tank. Good.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting tomorrow. Holy shit, my brain's so
No.
fucking fried and it doesn't recover from this. Oh.
Fried brain.
Mm.
Benediction? No, I never got
Okay,
that.
boys, I think we're done here. I'll take a break. Thank you all for coming and thank you for.
See you, Freddy.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, you just don't cook.
Thanks again.
Yeah, I am.
See.
Dude, I've been doing nothing but prepping this for the last fucking, I don't know, 3 weeks, so.
Ah.
My
Prep
brain
max.
hurts a bit.
Mm.
But yeah, we only get one shot, so let's make it worth it, right?
True.
It's not slack.
Oh wait, are you making thumbnail, Verona?
Yes. Yes. Okay, I'll check you guys later. Have a good evening if I don't see you. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, dude, I love how I realized you were making thumbnail for the video. I love the fucking thumbnails you make over the talkings. It's so good.
You're
Yeah, dude,
fucking
this
pissed, Corona. Like,
What was the
damn.
thumbnail for the tank?
Corona
you can
is so
go
fucking pissed.
try and look archives. It's so fucking funny. The talking videos, thumbnails.
Is it guild
Like the
challenge?
tanking one, like the fucking.